Well, across our broadcast regions, it's Wednesday for our Flow Sports, and it's a look at the lay of the ladders. As we do, we go through South Australian country football competitions, and we're looking at the movers and maybe the shaking as some are dropping out of contention as we get further into this footy season. Let's start on the Eyre Peninsula, and we go to Eastern Eyre. We have the ladder positions with Rangers on the top, and they haven't lost this year. They've been brilliant. They're 28 points, so they look safe for the year. And Central Eyre United 16, Ports 16, so very much in a 5-team competition with the top four. Those two in Kimber with 4. Look OK, Cow is the only one that hasn't won a game, and you get a feeling that the 4 could be decided in the top 2. The best case scenarios, Ports and Central Eyre United fighting out what looks like to be for second position and the double chance. Having a look across now at the lay of the ladders in Great Flinders football, and it's United Yalana haven't been headed this year at 16 premiership points, Tumby Bay 12, and then Lock on 10, Cummins 10, and Elliston at 6. So Elliston, similar percentage to Cummins, and I think is still an outside chance of making finals football after they beat Lock at the weekend. They certainly turned up to play the Roosters, and it's still a chance, I think, for finals football. Having a look at the Western Eyre competition, and this has been interesting. Western United go to the top with 14, and Sejuna Blues back into second on 12. So there you go. A little bit of moving and a bit of shaking going on after last year's premiers got nailed. And the West Coast Hawks in third place on 10 premiership points still can get the double chance at Thevenard with 8. Wirrala at 4, dropping 2 games away. So Thevenard look like they've secured that position. There's still a chance for a double chance, would you believe, the way in which it's working. 2 games adrift to the Blues, but would have to come up with some great wins in the latter part of the season for Thevy. Having a look now to northern areas and at the latter positions that have Crystal Brook on top. They're at 16 points with BMW on 16. They're both close on percentage, so it's a double chance I think that those two will get. Broughton Mundura 10 and Orroroo 8. Jamestown Peterborough off at the bottom of the ladder with that win on the weekend. Southern Flinders there on percentage now. Having a look at Northeastern, and the lay of the ladder's top of the table is the BSR Tigers. They haven't been headed in 8 matches, and they look really good, 16. Southern Saints in second on 12, but their percentage is lower than the Hawks, who are on 10. And Min Man, the surprise down, shaking a little bit in 8, in say, 4th place with 10 premiership points. And then North Clare on 8, and BBH on 6, and 2 to South Clare, nothing to Blythe Snowtown. So BBH in 6th place, still a chance to get to 4th, but you think that the top 4 have proven to be better than that next place, North Clare and BBH, generally through the season. So it could be a decided top 4 in Northeastern. Barossa Light and Gawler, it's interesting to see the lay of the ladders here. South with 8 and 0. That means they've won all games and 16 premiership points. Barossa Districts, though, Nuriutba, both on 12 and Williston on 10. And it's interesting because Gawler Central down to 8, and they played Williston at the weekend and were beaten by plenty. So Anguston 4, Tanunda 4, Freeling 4 and Kapunda 2. The big call could be that the top 4 is set here, and the bottom 5 haven't looked like beating those top 4 sides, who I think on their day, the top 4, any of them could be a premier this year. Interesting in BL and G. Having a look to York Peninsula, and top of the table is 9 and 1 for Moonta and 18 premiership points, Kadina 18, and then Southern Eagles 16. They all look pretty safe, but Central York at 12. They're 2 games adrift to Butte. Butte on 8, CMS Crows 8. They're the 2 that will fight out over the 5th place on the ladder, with Parsky on 4, Artroston and Wallaroo down on just the 1 win apiece. Having a look to football on the Adelaide Plains, and it's 9 and 0 for Two Wells, they're 18. Anglevale 15, Malala into 3rd place and 11, and Balaclava down to 4th and 10th. And United challenging at 5th place and 8 premiership points, and Hummocks Watchman with 6 premiership points. So I think they're the game. There's the game right there. Balaclava and Malala, the 2 sides susceptible against United Long Plains and Hummocks Watchman. But the 4 looking solid in that competition. Into the Riverland, and the top 4 out of 6 here. We've got the Loxton North at 14, Waikerie at 12, Renmark at 10. Renmark, of course, with the penalty points against them, I think will get up above Waikerie before the end of the season. Barmera Monash 8, Loxton 6, and Berry yet to score. So it's an interesting one for that one. And KNT GT has Border Districts at 32, Marnulla 28, Keith 28, Kingston 24 and Narracourt 24. 2 games adrift to Panthaway at 16, and then incredibly, Lucendale 3 games off at 12, and Bordertown 4 games off at 8, along with Penola at 8 and Kaiba yet to score. I reckon if you looked at it, Panthaway now fronting as the only side outside the top 5 that I think's a chance to get to the finals. Their percentage at 47 is not shocking. Lucendale's at 39 is. So I think Lucendale are had it, but I reckon the top 5, Border Districts is the big surprise. They're a mover. I reckon the rest of them are all shaking when they look at how good they are. And River Murray, this is interesting because the Southern Mallee Suns have shocked the competition at 8-1. They're at 16 points. They did lose their game to Jervois, who are at 14 with the a penalty that they've had on 2 games. So could be at the top if they hadn't had the penalty. Imperials in the top 3 at 14. There's 3 games break then, and here's the interest in this one. There's some shaking going on. Coorong Cats with 8, Maipolonga 8, Ramblers 6, Mannum and Tailem Ben both 4, and Mallee Districts 2. And mathematically, you'd reckon Ramblers and Mannum and Tailem Ben all could still get to that top 5, but their percentage is lower, and that becomes a crucial part of the race in the lay of the ladders. The lay of the ladders for that comp, I think it's going to get interesting as we get closer to the end of the season. Mid-South East that we've got on top robe, haven't lost yet with 9 wins and 36 points. Ports are 28, Kalangadoo and Mount Burr 24 and Hatherley 20. So it's 10-0 down to 12. So in the top 4, the 5th placed Hatherley and Mount Burr and Kalangadoo, they could all be fighting it out towards the end of the season. With the robe 2 games clear, they look pretty safe now for finals footy. Having a look at the other Murray Valley lay of the ladder, and it is Sedan, Cambrai haven't been headed in 6 matches. Murrayville are 5-1, 20 premiership points, Sedan, Cambrai 24. It's Brownswell 16, then Wonga and Ramco both on 8, Blanchetown and Paringa both on 4. Anybody in those bottom 4 sides could take the 4th place on the ladder in that one. So there's a bit of trembling and shaking happening, and I tell you what, they are real movers at Sedan Cambrai. They haven't been moved, actually. They've been top the whole year and doing a great job. That is our Wednesday look across South Australian country areas of flow coverage at our lay of the ladders.